I want to share with you some images I took in Tenerife, and this is La Orotava, which is an old town in Tenerife. And here we've got some old world buildings, and I think a couple of examples of genuine old world buildings. And in this video I want to try and explain to you why these buildings have got so much power, why they are so special, and why they are all evidence of an advanced civilization. We all have seriously underestimated these buildings. They're extremely clever and extremely well built and extremely difficult to build. So it's not a big deal to just look at these with your own eyes and realize there's something special about them. These had to have been built by very, very clever people. And probably they are much older than we expect. Now the ones here in this town have been built over and over, repaired and restored and painted over, so it's hard to tell if they're original or not, but I believe this one here is original. You can see giant doorways, again, which imply bigger people, and it's not a big deal to have bigger people. But they're built with the local stone, so they are built locally. But that, to me, is just more evidence that this civilization was global. It could travel the world quite easily and do all these incredible feats of engineering. Now, the thing is, these buildings have got a science to them, and it's a science we do not understand anymore. It's the science of ether, etheric energy. Now, this is the bit that nobody understands. Etheric energy is not physically obvious. It's not manifest. We can't detect it physically. Now these buildings are also electrostatic, so that is physical. You can see all these spires and antenna at the top. But the antenna are also there to collect etheric energy, more than just electrostatics. You can think of these as spiritual buildings as well as physical buildings. Now the science behind it, and this is where it's very difficult to understand, the science behind it is geometry. Geometry itself. And all these buildings are created with the same geometry. All over the world. Slightly different styles, but they've all got the same geometry. You see that triangle there? It's the 108, 36, 36 degree triangle. And they've got the same numerology, different numbers of things. They've all got these archways. One big one, two small ones, for example. They're all built with the same sort of geometry, but you can vary the style. They're all artistic. Now, the most important thing about this geometry is the golden ratio. It's proportionality. And the golden ratio is artistic also. But the golden ratio has a particular mathematical structure around it. Very clever, beautifully symmetrical sort of fractal mathematics. And it's also called incommensurability. And here, this little building here looks to me very old. Again, ancient Greek, Roman, Egyptian, all the same. They're using the same geometry around the golden ratio and some of these fundamental geometries like triangles, archways, squares, etc. But they will all have proportionalities to them. That proportionality will be around the golden ratio. And it's the fundamental mathematics that governs the universe. This mathematics governs everything. All manifestation must follow this mathematics. And if you create a geometry around it, it will resonate with this fundamental law or mathematical solution for the universe. What you're doing is connecting directly to spirit, mathematics itself, geometry itself. But the golden ratio gives it an organic nature. You see the golden ratio, the Fibonacci spiral, etc. in nature all the time. Now these buildings also include perfect geometry that you don't see so often in nature, all these triangles, archways, but this is technology. This is the application of consciousness onto the material world in such a way as it mirrors fundamental mathematics and geometry. It resonates with the laws of the universe. It resonates with mathematics, perfect mathematics. This you can think of as the heavenly realm. Pure spirit. Now this is not religious, repeat, nothing to do with religion. This has to be a different civilization with a different idea about spirituality and science. It was more holistic. But it was spiritual in that these buildings would power up your soul. They would power up your energy body. They would heal your physical body. They were beneficial to us all. And they were built with that in mind. And you can see how elaborate and detailed this is. And this has to be also, I think, cast. Some of this must be cast, not carved. So again, this is built with lost art. Very difficult to recreate this. And it doesn't take much investigation, detailed measurements to realize how powerful and clever the mathematics must be and how difficult it would be to construct this in perfection. You see, what's interesting about the golden ratio, it is an irrational number. It's impossible to create the golden ratio in perfection, just like it's impossible to create a circle in perfection. But the closer you can get to this perfection, the more power it has. But not just that, they must have proportionality. All these circles, archways, triangles, etc. These are you can also call this Pythagorean mathematics. But the closer you have to perfection, combined with the proportionalities of the golden ratio, this gives it the etheric power. And like I said, this is nothing to do with style or art, although they all have an artistic flair. This is science. They all follow this Pythagorean mathematics and this mathematics around the golden ratio. That is the secret. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this made sense. Please do leave me any questions or comments, and I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.